Phosphorus, the 15th chemical element. As a free element, it can be found as red or white phosphorus. However, it is not found naturally in this form due to its high reactivity. It is found in the environment in the ionized form phosphate. So why is this important to you, you ask? Well, without phosphorus, little Johnny and Susie here would not exist. Specifically, phosphorus is an essential component of macromolecules within cells. It is found in the head groups of the phospholipid bilayer, which is the chemical backbone of nucleotides in DNA and RNA, and is also a part of ATP. Phosphorus is crucial to ecosystems as it affects the net primary productivity, which is essentially how much growth is allowed to happen in the world. You may be wondering where phosphorus can be found. The most abundant source of phosphorus is found in the mineralized form throughout the biosphere within rocks and the crust of the Earth. Through weathering and erosion, phosphates can then enter the surrounding environment, and this is where the phenomenal phosphorus cycle begins.
The phenomenal phosphorus cycle. This necessary cycle for life ironically begins with the inorganic material rocks. As stated before, phosphorus is found as a free element and is usually bundled with other minerals as phosphate. With the combined natural forces of wind, rain, and ice, this phosphate is then freed into nearby soil and bodies of water. Unlike other elemental cycles, the phosphorus cycle does not have the atmospheric component nor have a gaseous form. These temporary deposits of phosphate in soil and bodies of water are called phosphorus exchange pools. In soil and on land, plants take up phosphate through their roots. Phosphorus then enters the general food cycle as the consumption of these plants as producers are eaten by consumers and secondary consumers that consume them. Within the ocean, phosphorus can be taken up at many points within the food chain, and similar to land, also has producers and consumers that utilize phosphorus. When organisms die or release waste, phosphorus is then available to decomposers, such as fungi and bacteria. These decomposers break down tissues and release phosphorus back into the exchange pool for further cycling. A phosphorus atom can cycle within the phosphorus exchange pool for an average of 100,000 years before falling back to the sediment of the ocean floor. However, if phosphorus falls to the sediment, it can be contracted and then reform into rocks over the time period of 100 million years. This cycle is called the sedimentary cycle. This then completes the loop of the cycle, as rocks then begin to be weathered off by natural forces. This cycle then happens again and again and again.
Ever since the dawn of man, the human race has shaped the landscape and habitat in which they live, for better or for worse. Humans can have a direct effect on this cycle through many means, like mining, fertilization, or sewage treatment, all resulting in different outcomes. The human process of mining can remove large amounts of phosphorus from a geographical location, reducing its phosphorus exchange pool and thereby possible growth, while also destroying or disrupting local habitat and environment. Mining is often done to produce fertilizer. The process of using fertilizer itself can also affect the cycle as it releases large amounts of phosphorus into an environment and its exchange pool. Fertilizer is often used to counteract the loss of phosphorus and to maintain crops in certain regions due to farming. Farming removes large amounts of phosphorus because of crops being removed from the immediate phosphorus exchange pool. Without phosphorus, the outputs of food needed to feed the current population would be nearly impossible. Luckily, that phosphorus is available due to human ingenuity. The process of sewage treatment also adds to extra phosphorus to rivers, lakes, and oceans. This extra phosphorus gives some organisms, such as algae, a growth advantage and thereby upset the balance of organisms in an ecosystem.
These processes combined make a recipe for disaster. The runoff and accumulation of phosphorus from fertilization and mining can lead to algal blooms in any body of water. This is where favorable conditions with the phosphorus allow algae to multiply rapidly. This creates overcrowding of plants as they compete for sunlight, space, and oxygen. This is called eutrophication, and it creates a lack of O2 in the water and the environment. This can destroy animal and plant life as it finds itself outcompeted by bacteria who thrive on decomposing algae. These areas, and suitable for life, are called dead zones, and the appearance and size of them are increasing. With the continual mining and improper fertilization, it is quite possible the world could become a dead zone.
So what can you do to protect the phosphorus cycle? What you can do is focus on the recovery and recycling of phosphorus. Ways you can do this include using low phosphate fertilizers, using waste-reducing nutrients in lakes and streams, and keeping your grass clippings from lawns and gardens after they've been mowed. Other things you can do include recycling from sewage and animal waste, and planting deep-rooted plants along shorelines to absorb and filter nutrients from soil runoff. Remember, kids, a healthy planet is a healthy life, and one way we can keep our home planet good as new is to make sure that we harm it as little as possible from anything that we may cause.